Welcome to LFN News, a production of LFN Media, bringing you the latest in celebrity news, with specific analysis to keep you in the know of what is going on around you. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe, and hit the bell icon, so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. A renowned music critic, who spent decades publicizing unfounded misconduct allegations against the RnB King, through his infamous writing seems to have won against a bid meant to force him to testify at the RnB singer's federal trial in Chicago, where Kelly is accused together with his two co-defendants, Darryl McDavid and Milton June Brown. Before testimony began Thursday, U.S. District Judge Harry Leinenweber ruled that music reporter Jim DeRogatis will not have to take the witness stand in the trial as the fourth week of proceedings got underway, granting an emergency motion filed by DeRogatis and The New Yorker, which sought to quash a subpoena compelling the reporter's testimony in the case. Lawyers for one of R. Kelly's co-defendants and former business manager, Darryl McDavid, who together with Kelly is being charged with allegedly conspiring to rig Kelly's 2008 related trial, had subpoenaed DeRogatis to testify. James Peter DeRogatis is a renowned American music critic. He is an associate professor of instruction with the Department of English and Creative Writing at Columbia College Chicago, and together with Greg Kot co-hosts Sound Opinions, the world's only rock and roll talk show. DeRogatis has earned his reputation as a music critic, writing articles for magazines such as Rolling Stone, Spin, Guitar World, and Modern Drummer, and for 15 years was the pop music critic for the Chicago Sun-Times. As an author, DeRogatis released his book Soulless: The Case Against R. Kelly in 2019 in the wake of the Me Too movement and the premiere of the infamous Surviving R. Kelly documentary series. If he had agreed and took the stand, R. Kelly's lawyers would also have been able to question DeRogatis in detail, which could have further helped build R. Kelly's defense. Lawyers for Jim DeRogatis, however, invoked constitutional and other protections for the press Tuesday, asking Judge Harry Leinenweber to rule that DeRogatis need not testify. Why he is not willing to take the stand, however, is still debatable. DeRogatis alleged he anonymously received a video that he later handed in to police, later helping lead to Kelly's trial in 2008 in state court. That same alleged video evidence entered at that 2008 trial is also part of the current trial in Chicago. Judge Harry Leinenweber made the ruling Thursday morning before testimony began, after court reopened, having been unexpectedly halted since Tuesday. Although it was not conclusively clear why court was halted, it is alleged that it was due to operational issues. Prosecutors rested last week and the defense, which has already arraigned more than 5 witnesses, could wrap up by the end of this week if all goes according to plan. It's not fully clear yet what the defense lawyers at Kelly's current trial would possibly ask DeRogatis to help build their case, but in their previous filings and public statements, they raised a chain of custody questions about how video evidence got into police hands. They also say there were indications that DeRogatis actually shared a draft of his book about Kelly with prosecutors, something that he would have had to speak to if he had ended up on the stand. Lucky guy. Tuesday's filing, also submitted on behalf of The New Yorker magazine, for whom DeRogatis writes, points to rulings by a Chicago-based court that forcing reporters to testify in cases they've covered should be done rarely, and only when there are no alternatives to introducing the same information, which they argue is not the case here. Rogatis' 10-page motion to quash the subpoena stated that multiple witnesses had already testified as to the veracity of the supposed videotape, making his testimony completely unnecessary. The filing further explains that a Chicago police detective has already testified for the prosecution, supposedly explaining the chain of custody of the said video evidence, and that DeRogatis' testimony would not carry any further value beyond that. It added that another key government witness, using the pseudonym Jane, also already testified to that effect, saying that she and R. Kelly were allegedly the people in the several videotapes, including the said tape that were also played for the jury. Lawyers for the defendants had repeatedly tried to call into question the authenticity and chain of custody of the DeRogatis tape, in part because it is alleged that copies were made at the Sun-Times before one version was turned over to police. It's no wonder DeRogatis was quite hesitant about taking the stand. Last month, McDavid's attorneys also accused the former lead prosecutor on the case, Angel Kroll, of improperly communicating with DeRogatis in early 2019 using a burner email account that was attached to a pseudonym, Dmitry Slavensky. Prosecutors, however, alleged that Kroll had a short phone conversation with DeRogatis about possibly sharing the manuscript of his book, Soulless, The Case Against R. Kelly, then a brief email exchange allegedly followed. But prosecutors further allege, she did not respond to subsequent emails or voicemails from DeRogatis, thus breaking the exchange. How convenient. Very hard to believe. The filing alleged that calling the outspoken Kelly critic to testify amounted to harassment or intimidation, given that there are other ways to work the same facts into evidence. It also cited reports that a window at the DeRogatis family home was allegedly shot out after the Sun-Times reported on Kelly. The motion also alleged that by subpoenaing the longtime journalist to testify, attorneys for Kelly's co-defendant, Daryl McDavid, were trying to out his news gathering on trial. Because Mr. DeRogatis' role has been as an investigative reporter, compelled testimony also is invasive as to his news gathering methods and cumulative of the actual sources and their source materials, the motion stated. Ironically though, DeRogatis took the stand at Kelly's 2008 trial, but refused to answer questions, citing an Illinois law that shields reporters' rights, as well the U.S. Constitution's free press rights and right against self-incrimination. My guess is, he was overly scared of taking the stand because if he was to find himself up there, the only thing he could afford to talk about openly is his book, but things would most definitely have become complicated for him if defense started asking about the copies of the tapes they made and his very conduct with the prosecutor. That's all we had for you today. Please let us know in the comment section below, if you feel Judge Harry was actually right to excuse Jim DeRogatis from taking the stand. We value your honest opinion. Thank you for watching LFN News, a production of LFN Media, giving you another view of issues at hand. To get notified whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now and hit the notification icon. And remember to give us your comment on the subject matter below.